feel a little bit redneckish here, but just experimenting. So I've got a lead weight that was in a sheet metal tender that I recently took apart to do some work on. So I've simply used a rubber band to kind of pull it against the back of the cab. So we've got weight on the motored end, and this is our repowered unit starting out here. And I'm going to put our volts back at, I'm curious if we go, yeah, it's not slipping at all now. Even with more weight, more resistance from the higher load. And there's the curve, and it's not tipping, not slipping. We're doing 0.5, 0.6 amps, 7.2 to 7.5 volts. So that little bit of weight, along with the get-a-grip tires, is what makes this engine really pull. So I think what we're going to do is up the ante a little bit. I'm going to do one of the other probably heaviest cars that Flyer made. And that is one of these Searchlight cars. I happen to have one handy here. We'll add that to our consist and try the hill again. .66 to 0.68 volts. Curious if the motor will stall. 0.6, 0.7 amps. That's pretty impressive. Wow. You can hear it slipping just a little bit now and again. But that is truly amazing. I never in my wildest imagination would have believed that a Baldwin could pull a load like this up a hill like this at a speed like this. That is just outstanding. All right, let's take the volts up to 10. We're still running at 0.7 amps. Volts drop just a little bit. Marches right up that hill like it's nothing. Okay, well, so this is getting interesting. I'm going to go grab 2 more floodlight cars, and we'll go ahead and see what happens with 2 more. All right, let's see what our little Hercules can do here. Go up to 7 volts. Let's see if we can make it up the hill. We're pulling 9 amps at this point. Starting to slip. Don't even have the full load up the grade yet. I'm going to go ahead and give it some more. That might be more than it can do here. But that is also a heavy load. So we're at 9.7 volts, 1.1 amps. Having some struggles getting some traction. But still, even with the spinning, once we get to the flat, that is no problem whatsoever to move that load. Alright, time to switch engines. I'm really noticing how tail heavy the traditional powered one is here. We'll see how it performs. Curious if the front end lifts off or not. Nope. Guess we need to go back and get our cars here. Okay, putting it at 13 volts again. Better go a little more than that. Kind of the same place the other one really struggled. That's the steepest part of the climb. So now we will see what our Get a Grip tires look like here. Wow, they don't look like they've even been run. There's no cracking, there's no pitting, there is no signs of anything problematic. They look like, no, I guess it looks like they've had a little bit of run time on them. Stood quite a test there. All right, that's impressive. Well, I would give this a 5-star rating. Way to go, Don. You've got a good product there, and certainly one that I would not be afraid to put on my motive fleet. Awesome. All right, here is our Baldwin. This is with traditional motor and reverse unit in, weighing it at a lightweight 1.138 pounds. And here is our remotored, weighing it at 1.14. And the weight that I was randomly putting on them out of the Flyer tin plate tender weighs in at 0.355 pounds. So my goal is going to be to see about finding a way to add at least approximately that much weight. So basically this entire packet of lead, if I can fit that between the fuel tanks on this one and that one. That'll work. Let's see, I've got 2 of these packages. I wonder what this other one weighs. Oh, that one weighs just a little bit more. Okay. I really like the idea of trying to tuck some weights up underneath here because it's going to keep the center of gravity really low, which is always a good thing. But at least on this one, you can see you've got reverse unit potential issues in terms of getting access to that. So anyhow, that'll be something to explore. All right, so what I ended up doing, I'm going to start with our unrepowered Baldwin to begin with, is I put as many of the lead weights underneath between the fake fuel tanks, and then all but 2 of them didn't, I'm sorry, 4 of them didn't fit and still left clearance. So I put those up here, and I also covered them in electrical tape. Should they fall off, in theory, they won't short the motor out and lead to damage. So anyhow, you can see they hang down just a little bit, but for now I'm going to live with that. And if this works like I hope it does, I could easily blacken the sides of the lead and they'll disappear pretty good. So now we'll put it on the rails and see how it does. So this is something of an experiment, something I haven't done on this channel before, where I've made an extra investment to upgrade an engine with the goal of seeing it perform better. I've always been pretty pleased with Flyer engines and how they perform, with the exception of the Baldwins. The Baldwins, as I've shared with you at different times, they struggle. They look nice, but they don't seem to pull enough to get out of their own way. But I'd love to hear your feedback on this. What would you do? So we've got a couple modifications. We've got an original Flyer with get-a-grip tires, and as you can see, it pulls tremendously better than without them, and that's without any additional modifications, weight, anything. But if you add a little bit more weight, it pulls even better. Option B is doing a brand new can motor, dolly reversing unit. We end up with a lighter chassis, so it really could use some additional mass, additional weight, but in terms of amp draw, I mean, it's a fraction of what the traditional engine pulls. So price tag, we're looking at, approximately $100 versus approximately $140 to $180, somewhere in there. So the question is this something you do? So yeah, that's. I have some questions for you. Number one, what do you think? Do you like this kind of modification? Okay. Number two, do you think it's worth it to see this kind of improvement in performance on a Baldwin? And again, we've got traditional and we've got completely repowered. And number three, do you think this is a valuable way to go? And this is really important. It's important because the future of this hobby is determined by some of the things that happen now. When I look at what I see, in the hobby, it is people spending big bucks. It is getting all kinds of bells and whistles, and so somehow Flyer has to become relevant. And if there's a way that we can make this antique stuff relevant in ways that are affordable, can be undone, they're not permanent changes, maybe there'd be some appeal there for those of us that like the original, but also would like some better performance or reliability. Anyhow, throw these comments out there. I would love for some feedback. There's some of you that have a lot of good thoughts on this, so please share them. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been kind of a long developing dream of mine to do this. It's taken me about a year and a half to bring it all the way around. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how things have turned out, and look forward to your feedback. So until next time, God bless, take care, enjoy your American Flyer trains.